Hello everybody, so today I will talk about calculus. The topic today is about the integral. We have 1 plus the square root of x to the power of 2. We put outside the square root and you will get a new one. That's about the square root of 1 minus the square root of x. So over 1 plus the square root of x. Next, we got about integration by substitution. So we put about s equal to u square, ds equal to 2u du. So we put u square in here and here. ds we change for this one. This one we change for u and u. Next, we need to use about integration by substitution. So we put about t equal for the square root of 1 minus u, t square equal to 1 minus u. We need to find the value of u in here. So you got about u equal to 1 minus t square. And we have du, so we do first the derivative of this one. So you got about du equal to negative 2t dt. The square root we change for t. U we need to change for 1 minus t square. U in here too. Du we change for negative 2t dt. And we have number 2 and number 2. You got about negative number 4. Next, we need to use about integration by trigonometric substitution. So we put about t equals to, we have 1 plus 1 is about 2. So we got about the square root of number 2 multiplied with sine z dt. We got about the square root of number 2 cosine z dz. About t we put in here and you got about 2 sine z square. About t in here we change for this one. This one we change for 2 sine z square. T in here we change for this one. dz we change for this one. Now we need to simplify. Number 2 and number 2 we put outside, so 4 divided by 2 you got about number 2. Square root number 2, square root number 2, you got about number 2. 2 multiplied with number 2, you got about number 4, and the square root of number 2, and you got about 4 multiplied with the square root of number 2. One minus sine z to the power of 2, you got about cosine z square. Cosine z divide cosine z, you got about 1 over cosine z. Next, sine z multiply with sin z, you got about sin z to the power of 2. So in this situation, we create two integrals in here. The first one and the second one. For the first one, we can put about 1 minus cosine z square. For this one, you got about 1 over cosine z minus cosine z, because cosine z square divide cosine z, and you got about the integral of 1 over cosine z, you got about ln of the absolute value of secant of z plus tan z. The next one is about sin z. Now let's go to the second one. I will concentrate about this one only. We multiply cosine z on numerator and denominator. This one we can put about 1 minus sin z square. And now we can use about integration by substitution. So we put about g equal to sin z, dg equal to cosine z dz. So this one we change for g to the power of 4. This one we change for g square. Cosine z dz we change for dg. So we need to put negative in here, so we can change about g square minus 1. About this one, we can add about negative g square, so we put positive g square, and then we need to have negative 1 plus 1. This one we can do about factorization. And g square minus 1 and g square minus 1 divide to this one. You got about negative, and we have the integral of g square plus 1 plus 1 over g square minus 1 . Next, 3 square minus 1, you got about 3 minus 1 multiply with 3 plus 1. About this one, we can put about 3 plus 1 minus 3 minus 1, 1, and we have negative number 1, you got the positive 3 minus 3, they will cancel. In this situation, we need to divide 1 over 2. That's about divide with number 2. So for this one, 3 plus 1 divide 3 plus 1, you got about 1 over 3 minus 1, and we have 1 over 3 plus 1. And now we can get the final answer. the integral of 3 square in here. You got about 3 to the power of 3 over 3. The next one is about 3 1 over 3 minus 1. You got about ln of the absolute value of 3 minus 1. We have the negative in here, so we need to change the sign. This one you got about the positive. About 3, we need to change back for sine z. Now we need to compile the answer. Next, about z, we need to change back for t. So we divide both sides with the square root of number 2. So we got about z equal to r sine of t divided to the square root of number 2. So we put this one in here. 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 Because we have side with r side, so we got about t over the square root of number 2 in here. So we put this one in here. So we have that, we have sine, sine and sine. So we change everything into t over the square root of number 2. Next, about t, we need to change back for the square root of 1 minus u. About u, we need to change back for the square root of s. So we put this one in here. Here. This is the final answer. That's the end. Thank you for watching.